Yeah, I'm live. Okay. Hello, everybody on my channel. Victoria, aka Rainbow Wings here. I put out a few videos today, and I'm just chilling and relaxing and looking at some manifesting videos. And there's been so much going on with light codes, and I'm tired. I mean, oh my gosh, it's just been insane few days, but it's been a good insane. Um, Lots of leveling up, lots of downloads. But today and last night, this story about when I met an angel keeps coming through. And Spirit keeps saying to share these stories. So I've only shared this story a couple times. I've never actually shared it like on a platform like this. But here it goes. I don't really discuss a lot about my story, but this was like one of the first times I had to go to a women's shelter, and my kids were really young. My son was just a baby, he wasn't even 2, and my daughter was just about 7. And I was in a women's shelter because I was in an abusive relationship. And let me tell you, no money, no nothing. And we were catching the bus in Hamilton, Ontario. And my daughter and I and my son were waiting for the bus, and I only had like one bus ticket, and that was to get to my mother's house, and I had to use transfers and stuff like that because we had to transfer like 2 times. It all makes sense when I get to the end of the story here. Hi, Louise. Yeah, it's my angel story. It was the first time I met an angel, and her name was Jodi with an I, not with a Y. And she repeated that several times, and during the time, I didn't know she was an angel. Like, I had no idea. I was just grateful for her. So we were sitting at the bus stop, and we were in front of a funeral home, and my daughter picked up this pink carnation that was on the ground. And it was cold. I mean, it wasn't like summer months or anything like that. It was like really early spring. And she gave it to this lady. And my daughter naturally just seemed attracted to her. And my stranger danger is kicking in, right? Oh, come on, get closer to mommy. Oh, big hugs. Thank you. Yeah, Jodi with an I, not with a Y. And this was this lady. And I happened to notice that like she was super pretty. She had the most bluest eyes. And her hair was like super duper blonde, like platinum blonde. So my sight was on my daughter because of stranger danger. And I was just trying to keep her close. And the bus showed up. And that lady went on first, which I now know is Jodi with an I, not with a Y. Because she turned before she went on the bus, and that's the first thing she said with me. She said to my daughter and I, "Oh, you must think I'm a stranger. Here, we're not strangers no more. My name is Jodi, and it's Jodi with an I, not a Y." So I smiled, and I thought, okay. And I wasn't going to show anybody that I was in distress and worried. I mean, I was trying to figure out a place for my kids and I to live. And it's so crazy how this all ends up. Hi, Pam. I'm glad you're feeling better and that you drank the water and that you have understanding what the light codes are now. But to continue on, we got onto the bus and I forgot my transfer. For some reason, I forgot my transfer. And it was so important because, like, it's a long ass walk. And especially with 2 little kids, it would have been impossible. So I get on the bus and I get the children settled. And she's talking with me. And I'm only going around the corner and up a ways. It's only about 6 blocks until the next transfer. And I realize I don't have my transfer. And I'm like, oh no, I don't have my transfer. I have to take the children all the way back up to the front of the bus. And here's Jodi with an I, not a Y, and she's talking. And I'm not really paying attention because I'm thinking about the transfer. And I get brave enough to say, can you sit with my daughter for a minute? I'll take my son up, but I got to go get this transfer. And she says, well, don't bother with the stroller. Your daughter can hang on to the stroller. We're right here. And there's other people around, so like it's okay. I know you need this transfer, and the stop is coming up soon. I'm getting off at the same stop. So I quickly rushed up to the lady that was driving the bus, and she was horrible. Oh my God, she was just a horrible lady. She was screaming at me, "You didn't get your transfer. I don't know when you got on the bus." And I'm like, please, like I really need this transfer. I just got on the bus, and there's a lady here that can vouch for me. And she's like, go back to your seat. And I didn't want to argue or fight because that's just wasn't. I was like so timid back then. So I was amazed I had the courage to ask for the transfer, but I needed it desperately. And those were kind of the situations, you just kind of do it, right? So I went back and I said to this lady, oh my goodness. And I broke out in tears. I just said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And she said, just hold on a moment. And she went up to the bus driver and she got a transfer and she came back. And I thanked her. I mean, like, I still have the relief today. I was like, oh my God. It was going to be like a 3-hour walk if I walked to my mother's. And I did not want to go back to the shelter. I just needed a break away from the shelter. It was very chaotic there. Um, so we're on the bus, and she gives me the transfer, and I'm thanking her. And it seems strange because all this stuff happens in such a short time and space. But she starts telling me about this place in Stony Creek, which is up off of Hamilton, which is a suburb. And, oh, hi, baby Buddha. Thanks for joining us. So she was telling me about these transfers in Stony Creek, but the bus only goes so far, and that you have to get this cab. Like the bus company will call for a cab, and the cab will drive you to this further outside the city because buses only go so far. And I was just thinking, I don't know why this lady's telling me this, but cool. It's probably something I should know. I'm so far from that area, not even thinking about it. And so we get off the bus, and I thank her again. And she says, well, I got to go connect to this bus up here. And it was really nice meeting you. And she kept repeating, my name is Jodi with an I, not with a Y. But before she left, she turned and she said, everything's connected to the next. I just want you to know that. And she said that, and I was like, okay. And Ty, my son, let a little fuss, and I looked at him, and I turned back around, and she was gone. And she wasn't at the bus stop, because you could see the other bus stop where you're transferring to. And I thought, that bus hasn't gone by yet. There's no way. Like, it's just, that much time hasn't passed. So I asked the passerby, is that Beeline bus running? Because it was like an express bus that went out to that end of the city she was talking about. And they said, oh, that bus doesn't run today. It's Sunday. So I was like, oh, well, maybe she went around the corner or something. Or, you bring logic to your mind. And I caught the bus and I went to my mom's. And I just kept thinking about this lovely lady. So I went back to the shelter, and it was like 2 days later. I got word. I actually went back and I said a prayer with my counselor. And my counselor and I said a prayer that night in the counseling room. And she literally said, this all connects together. It's really crazy cool. But she said, it's not like Victoria's asking for $1 million. She's just asking for what she needs. Can we bless her with it? And I was really wanting a home, as I said. And literally the next day, I got offered a place to live. And so I had to go on the buses again. And I needed the extra day, and I had to transfer to my mom's. And my mom and dad were going to drive me up there so I can go for the interview. And I was really nervous. So I took the same buses again. But this time when I got off the transfer, there was blue writing on the ground. And I looked at it, and it said, this building is connected to the next, and everything's connected. And it had a blue arrow pointing to a building right beside where I thought she was supposed to catch the bus. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting, right? And I seen that there was more blue writing up a little ways, but I didn't go to it. And I just thought, that's kind of crazy cool. Like, she just said that the other day, and I didn't think anything of it. So I grabbed my bus, and we went up, and I went for my interview. And the lady that gave the interview says to me and my mom, hey, did you hear about the lady that won the $1 million? I was like, what? What? So and she told me, she said, oh, there's this lady that was in a shelter like 5 years ago, and she won the lotto, and she plans on starting her own shelter for women, and da 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 da. And I was like, And I'm taking it all in, going, that's crazy cool. Like the prayer last night. And I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to get my house. Like, I wonder if I'm going to get this place. And the lady, I thought she was going to ask me for a credit check, and my credit was shit at the time. And she's like, well, here's the keys. And I'm looking around going, what? She's like, here's the keys. You now have a 3-bedroom townhouse and somewhere to live. And all you have to do is sign this paper, and it's going to be geared to income, so that it'll be like cheap rent for you. And we're a co-op, and so we do things as a community. And I was just kind of like, what? What? I have a house? So then I told her about my prayer. And she says, oh, isn't that a coincidence? She was like, that's really cool. But Jodi with an I and not a Y hasn't popped in my head yet. Not until we're leaving. So my mom and dad are driving me and the kids out. And then I realize where I am. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the area that lady was talking about. That Jodi with an I, not a Y. I literally got a house to where the bus transferred almost to. So I needed to take a cab to get to my new house. And I would have never known that if it wasn't for Jodi with an I, not with a Y. And so I went back to the shelter, and I told my counselors, and I was telling the other ladies about the story. And I'm like, I swear to God, this lady was an angel. Like, this is crazy. Like, my daughter kept calling her pretty angel. And I said, oh, that's nice, sweetheart, but leave the strange lady alone. Like, stranger danger, right? And my daughter still remembers her to this day. We talked about her over Christmas, and maybe that's why she's in my head, but it just blew me away that was there. And then when I went back to the shelter and I told them about the blue writing, and they were like, oh, really? I said, I think I'm losing my mind. Can like somebody, if they take a bus, go look at that? And if they look at that, I seen that there was other writing. So if it's there, can you follow the writing? Like if you have a few minutes, because I have my kids and I can't like be touring all over. So one lady's like, I'll do it. And she went the next day. And so she went and she told me what everything read. I can't remember what everything read, because the significance for me was 2 days after that, I had to have a lawyer because I was in a shelter because I left my partner. And we had to go to court for custody. And I needed a lawyer. So on the bus I go again. This time I don't have the children. I get off the bus, and I remember the lady saying that the blue lettering was there. So I knew to expect it. And it was there. So I got out and I said, this building's connected to the next, and everything's connected. Okay. So the arrow pointed straight, and I thought, well, that's in the direction of my lawyer. And then the next one said something along the lines, this building is also connected to the next, something like that. But it was like something about time apart. And I just thought, okay. And I didn't quite get it. So then the arrow pointed forward, and the next blue writing was literally in front of my lawyer's office. And it was pointed to the building saying, everything's connected. And all this writing was in blue. So I don't know if I said that. So I went in and I got a lawyer. And everything went really well, which was amazing. I just can't do this. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm reading what you had to say, baby Buddha. Believe it or not, like they make us feel like crazy sometimes. Oh goodness. Baby Buddha, I've been feeling like I've been crazy for like my lifetime. And it took me probably to the last year just to be really down with myself. Just accepting it. A lot of shadow work in the last year. Accepting things and changing things around. But I'm getting off topic, and I will get back to that. I will get back to that. But I did get a lawyer, and as I said, time went away like in between. And this is when I started doing therapy and stuff. So I was in my early 30s, and this is like, I'm 46 now. So it's been at least 15 years of like heavy duty therapy and having people tell me I'm not crazy and being really honest with them too, right? So, but it turned out 2 years later The building that was connected to the next was behind it, and it was the YMCA, or sorry, the YWCA. And I met a lady in there that helped me start a business. And on the same floor, I went into the next room. We were talking, and she asked me to describe some of my meditations. So this was like back in 2004, 2005 that this was going on. And she said, because I explained to her how I went back into like a bubble state and how I could see things. And there were like stars around me, like it was an amniotic fluid. And her mouth dropped open. She said, how do you know this stuff? This is like university level therapy. And I just said, I just went down with myself, I just trust myself. But those were the times I was so scared about those things. And then I'd go quiet because I was like, oh my God, like I'm so weird. Like, how do I know that? And I just want to fit in. I spent a long time on that trying to fit in. Just ridiculous amounts of time. And you're going to find things are going to go a lot easier when you start accepting things in yourself. So I get really nervous sometimes, and as you can see, my knees come up. So I know that this is my way of how I protect my energy. But I didn't know that for a long time. I noticed that when I get overwhelmed, that I twirl my foot naturally, or I'll twirl my fingers. And I've noticed that with other people now. And that's our way of dispensing extra energy. We're literally like grounding out our energy. So if we're twirling our foot, we're grounding out. So these things that I thought were bad things or aspects of myself turned out to be good. And that's kind of like baby steps in shadow work, because when you get into some really nitty gritty shadow work, I'm not going to lie, it's hard. You got to really sit with yourself. And I think that you should have some sort of backup with you. This is where I think affirmations are very good, is with shadow work, is to remind yourself that you're a light being and that the shadow aspect might not even be yours. It could be your mother's, it could be grandmother's, it could be your father's, your grandfather's, it could be anybody in the ancestral lineage. And being star seeds and being weavers like we are, we're the ones breaking those genetical curses, so it's in us. And the universe believes that we can break these. And how it's done, from what I've learned, like what I really learned, that what works is sitting within yourself. And not only in a meditation, but if you have your conscious mind and you think that you can't shut off that chatter, and you know that your intentions do work, and you know that you can affect things. So we know that we have scientifically proven that we affect water, we affect everything around us. Like the HeartMath Institute has studied this for like 15 years now. There's been movies about this, documentaries, famous people that have like flipped the switch and like left everything behind to work with these kind of things, because it's real. And us star seeds know it's real, but because we're such sponges of energy and we're so curious about things and we're so helpful, that we naturally go touch something without thinking, oh my God, is that going to hurt me? So that's when we haven't integrated our shadow self, because we're still in our bubble form of higher self, because we have all this trust when we're running around. And although all that trust is really good, the reason why we have human bodies is so that we can listen to that intuition when we have that twinge. And when our twinges are off in our body, that's where we can take our bubble self and go within. And a good meditation, or a good way to sit with that, it's not even a meditation. You sit with yourself and you get comfortable and you check in, you make sure all your needs are met. If you're hungry, make sure you eat first. If you're thirsty, have a glass of water, take a drink. If you're cold, have a blanket. If you're warm, make sure you're cool. Check in with your body, make sure not to be disturbed, and then go within yourself. And the best thing I've ever learned is see yourself as an entity or an energy within. Whatever feels right for you. If you feel that you see yourself as a star or a sprinkle or whatever that is, see that. Then create a space for your body, because that little sparkle is you. And then the rest of what's coming in is going to be your body. So whatever you think that fits for you. If you think it's an arena, that you need something like to hold in your body space so that you can see everything in your body, then do that. If you can do it in an open space, you don't feel that anything's going to like run off to the trees in your imagination or in your meditation, then make sure that you do it in a closed space, like close them off with a fence or something. Because if you feel that it might stray away from you, then make sure that you cap it into a space, and you begin with saying to whatever it is that you see or feel. Like, I close my eyes because I go through it when I'm saying it, because I don't want to miss a beat here. So when you're closing your eyes and you see your little spark, and I create an arena. And sometimes I even put a dome on it, because I feel like sometimes my little subconscious beings want to jump ship, because there's been so much traumatic events in my life and in my mother's life. And I don't know about my grandmother's because my mother was adopted, but I can only sense or feel and have a history through my mom's actions and my actions that they were possibly my grandmother's as well. So I also trust what's given to me. I'm sorry if this is a lot of information fast, but us starseeds, we really tend to work on a very fast level. So I'm going to trust that you're getting the information exactly how you need it. So when you're sitting in your little spark of light and you have your arena, invite your body cells in. And you just let them be whatever it is. They might be shapes and colors. They could be animals. They could be symbols. It can be anything. As long as you know that all your body parts are there. Now, it might seem overwhelming that you're seeing all these cells and all these energies. Remember that you're in the center of this and that you're the speaker in this arena. So when you feel comfortable that all your body parts that you need, or all the body is in this area, you can then speak out and say to whatever area in your body that needs to be heard to please come forward. Now, if there's more than one energy going off, ask that energy to have one collective energy come with everybody's needs. And as they come up and you're speaking with them, and if you want, you can meet them halfway or have them come up to you so that you can see this energy or this image face to face and listen. Open yourself to them with beginning saying, thank you. Thank you for protecting me and keeping me safe. I love you. This is a safe place to show me how you've protected me over the years. And you can call on and let that keep going. So it's going to show you a trauma. It's going to show you an incident. It's going to show you a sense, a feeling. It's going to be something that comes up. When it comes up, continually ask it, well, why did that happen? Why did you react that way? And eventually, it will continue to answer, I reacted this way because I was trying to keep you safe. Well, why were you trying to keep me safe? Because I was trying to protect you. Well, why were you trying to protect you? Because I care about you. Well, why do you care about me? Because I love you. Well, why do you love me? Because I love my being and who we are. Once you hit that love space, you are in a good connection. You can now project onto like the side of the arena or within your heart some images of what you would like to happen, and see how that image or that entity responds. If they're a little bit nervous and they're like, oh wait, we're still trying to protect you, you can have a discussion with that piece of your body and say, I understand that you were protecting me and loving me in that moment, but this is where we are now. And you can bring that piece to where you are now. You can bring them into your home space. You can show them physically what you look like. You can show them how far you are and that you're safe. That everything is safe now. So whatever it is that we're going to proceed towards is in our benefit, because I love you too. And I'm like trying to bring this into our reality because we have no need to be fearful anymore. I understand that you're running that program And I'm grateful that you ran that program. But we're here now and in this present. And we're going to try to at least try this. So you don't have to push it. I mean, if it's like, oh, I don't know, just say, well, let's just try. Just having that ability to try. So then that way, that body part has time to regain a new belief in the body that we're safe and it works. Because when you're finished, and you can take all the time you want, if you get tired, simply say to the body, thank you so much, I'm tired, and I'm going to close it in now because I'm going to go get a drink of water, I'm going to care for you, I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to make sure that when that twinge happens that I take a moment to come inside and see what's going on, fix it, make a conversation, see where we can go from here, from where we were. This can take a lot of work. So I've had my eyes closed because I visually see it going on. But the last and most important thing is always be grateful. Thank your body. This body has got our energy, and we got to take care of it. We got to put some fuel in there that's good for us. And unfortunately, we got a world that a lot of food that we think tastes good, like sugars, isn't good for our body. It just manipulates our chemicals in our body. So there's a lot I said there. Let's see if I can you tell me what a real event where angel gives you a 4-year-old crying child a golden apple like a fruit means? Another tribe member asking. Okay. The golden apple. Well, apple in a lot of symbology is like the key to everything because it's the 5-star. We're like an apple. Our tornado field is an apple. So the fact that the person was given a golden apple, I would say that they're reinforcing the belief. The angels and the guides are reinforcing the belief that their energy is golden and that they are a star within, and all the seeds that they have are ready for planting. They can also check in with themselves and trust their thoughts, images, and feelings and write them down. You are your guru. Us star seeds, we got everything that we need. We need connection with others because we need our human bodies and our brains to validate, because it's that reptile subconscious brain that kind of clicks off for us sometimes. See here, we represent you're me and I'm you. I will always be with you. Yes. That's so beautiful and so true. Yep, I agree. I agree, baby Buddha. We got to do this together. Yes. There are past life connections between all of us. We were persecuted for latent healing. So I've seen many past life pictures around Atlantis, and we're all incarnated with Atlantis. Oh yes. I feel you there, baby Buddha. Oh my gosh, do I ever. Even my eye just started twitching a bit. I know I haven't incarnated for quite some time. And I discovered that back in 2011. And it brought a whole new world of fear around. I waited a long time for when I felt it was safe. And even when I felt it was safe, I still didn't think it was safe. It took me quite some time to get to the space. And I couldn't do it without the tribe. I couldn't do it without the 144 tribe. Hands down, no way. We need each other because we need that support, because we've lacked it all of our lives. We've gone through such traumatic cycles over and over and over that we need to open up to each other and have that connection, because it's connection that makes this world go, no matter what. And devastation across the board, people that come together as community, works. One of the first things that my sister taught me when I first cracked open back in 2011, I was taught the old ways. And the first story I was taught was about the sickness. And the story is this. The tribe was a very happy tribe. And one day, one of the huntsmen noticed that he caught more than the other huntsmen. And he thought to himself, why am I feeding my whole tribe? I have so much for me. They'll have to come to me to get it. and they'll worship me like I should be worshipped. So this huntsman went and started stacking his meat in a cave, and he didn't feed the rest of the tribe. And eventually he left the tribe. And as he laughed in his cave, ha ha ha, I have all this meat, he was only sitting on the fresh part of it, right? Because underneath that stack was all decaying and rotting. Now over the tribe, yes, at first the tribe suffered. The weak ones were becoming weaker. The elderly were very sick. They didn't get as much nourishment. But they also had other hunters. And then the women also got together and started gathering. And everybody took care of each other until it was even again. So they helped each other and they became a tribe and were happy and healthy. Where unfortunately, it was said that two little tribe members went looking for the hunter because they were genuinely concerned. And when they found him, he was in complete madness from all the rot and decay, screaming, "This is my meat, this is my meat." And he scared the little children away and created the first monster story. That was the first story I ever heard. And then my sister would sit and say, "What have you learned from this?" And then I'd have to explain. So, what have you learned from that? What did you learn from that story? Stories are powerful medicine. Oh my gosh, Spirit's like, there you go, that's my Jodi with an I, not with a Y. Yeah, Pete's a pretty good guy there. I think our tribe's pretty cool, all in all. We got some amazing tribe members. And I love how we put it out there now, we're just like, this is what I know. Even though I might think I'm crazy, I'm still going to share it because somebody else will let me know if I'm crazy because I can trust my tribe. Pretty cool. I love it. I can't believe all the freaking videos I'm doing. That's never. So, just so you know, baby Buddha, I had literally a fear of cameras. So if you look back at my videos, you can kind of see the deer in the headlights. I'm like, yeah. I was so scared. Deer in the headlights. I took classes after classes for I started in 2020 trying to learn how to teach online, and I'm still scared. I mean, it wasn't until this fall until I actually told my story in my class that it all made sense to me. It was just it's like a band-aid. You just rip it right off and just accept the fact I'm gonna screw up. I'm not gonna be perfect on camera. I don't want to be perfect on camera. I decided that before I even started this venture. I was like, I gotta bring authentic me, even though I struggle with it sometimes, because it's you want to bring your best self for everybody. Is your best self being fake? I don't think so. I know some days I'm gonna wear makeup and I'm gonna look gorgeous. Hot damn. And some days I'm gonna be just like this. I've been going through ascension the last few days. I'm sitting here right now. And I got little sweat pockets going on. I don't know if you can see that, but I got little sweat pockets going on just because it's downloading through me as I'm going, and it just goes. I've noticed that it's just I could be anywhere, and all of a sudden I feel a trickle of sweat. I'm like, oh, I'm downloading because I've gotten used to my body now and downloads. What joins us? Our core. Our core. I don't know if you've seen that. I made sure that I put up that video with Julia Cannon, and she shows in the video. Actually, I can show you right here. I got a couple of colors here. So this is how we're joined. So this is us. Little us down here. I don't know if you can see that. Little us. And this is source. Yeah, I'm gonna try to draw this better with a darker marker. I'm a nerd. That's why I know all this stuff. It's because I'm one of those people that I need to know, and I have to have concrete evidence. And, oh, that's crazy. This is universe. And this is collective. is collective. And then these different colors here. Up, and around, and around, and this. And I use a blue marker for the toroidal field. Once you see this pattern, you're going to understand that this is in everything. And it goes right down to the basics of sacred geometry. That's why I posted those videos today about sacred geometry. And Dolores explains it really well, is that when we look at our DNA coding, I don't really know where one of the cards, I think, are over there. When you look at our DNA coding, and that's why I like those cards for star seeds, because you're looking at it, and although it might not resonate with you right now, that concept is going to your blueprint downloads, and it goes right into your core. So when it's time, it will just automatically pop out for you, and it will be there. It's the beauty of sacred geometry and coding and light coding, and coding that way. So I hope you can see this. So here we are as little individuals. Ding, ding. That's us there. These are our people, plant, trees, everything that's on Earth. Right? So this is somebody on the other side of the planet. This is you. So your energy, your toroidal field goes straight up to the universe and comes back down and around. So remember to say, as above, so below. As above, so below. But it goes like the universal toroidal field. Up and around, okay? This is collective energy. This is where all the energy resides. So this is all like the cosmos, the universe, the planets, aliens, all of us. The Arcturians, all the councils here. Okay? And they have their own part of the flower. So if you come over here, like if you want to get really technical, Julie doesn't describe this, but I'll tell it to you. It's one of the first downloads I received that it took me like 15 years to translate. But this toroidal field, other planets, they have the same thing, but it all connects to the universe source. So this person over here might say a prayer, and they have their little toroidal field that comes up and goes back around too. So, but this is all a collective energy. So how we're connected is like, what is that in the ocean there? The coral, the ones that have the fingers, the tendrils on them, that they're in the bottom of the ocean. At the core of that coral, it knows everything that's going on with all these individual experiences. But every single phalange, every single little tangle is having an individual experience. It does not know that this one's having a different experience than this one, or this one, or this one, like us. And then the bottom, there's this source code. And this one's experiencing all of these energies. And then this is connected to Mother Earth, and she is experiencing all that energy from all that energy from all that energy. So it's literally recycling through. And then when Mother Earth sends it back up to the universe, it goes up to the universe, down to the collective. And so it is, as above, so below, so within, so without. And that is what people have been like trying to talk about all these years. So I hope that makes sense for you, baby Buddha. If not, I don't mind. I will look to try to simplify it even more. Yep, I agree with that. It's true. We incarnate together. That is where our soul contracts and stuff can come into play. So if we exit out of a soul contract, okay, I guess another story. I don't share this one very often. But the reason why I'm not suicidal is because when I was 14, I actually did try to commit suicide. And I seen something that I never wanted to see again. And I begged it for my life. Afterwards, I understood that if I went out of my soul contract, even at a young age, even no matter how much pain and suffering I had gone through, even by that time, I couldn't get out of my soul contract. I would have gone to soul lessons and They're very hard. A lot harder than what it is here because there's more emotion and feeling. So that's why I begged for my life, because that's what gave me the fear, is seeing that if I didn't complete what I thought was my life mission, that I would have to come back and do it all again. And I don't want to do it all again. I incarnated from, well, I channeled out in 2011 my past life regressions, and I went back. Like, I hadn't been here for something like 400 plus years, and the last time I incarnated was somewhere over in Borneo, and they executed me for my beliefs. So I got that validated because I went for biofeedback a few years ago. I never said a word to the woman that did my biofeedback. I just asked her for answers, and she found them for me. That was an experience in its own, the biofeedback. And that's when I learned, like, us starseeds, we affect all kinds of things. Like, if we're really emotional, have you ever noticed that you can, all of a sudden the bank machine stops working? Or if you're at the library, the system goes kooky? You ever notice that? If you get emotional, that the camera will start fuzzing up, your phone will start conking out, things start going wrong. That's our soul core telling us, like, calm again. Because we affect everything. No matter what wave we are, we affect everything. Second wavers, I find, are massive power generators. Those are the starseeds that you can feel, like, when you go into a city and you're like, oh, you just know that there's like one or two there. You can just feel it. And you just get caught and drawn to a certain person. That's just like that home feeling that we had when we were little kids, A lot of us starseeds, we say to our parents, I want to go home. Well, you're home. No. I want to go home. And they're like, no. So it got so bad for me that my mother and my grandmother took me for behavioral cognitive therapy in 1980 because they didn't want me to talk to dead people no more. So a lot of my skepticisms come from, can I trust my intuition? And I had a lot of like back and forth because I thought whatever they did to my brain, like, locked me down for life. Not true. I cracked open in my 30s. Good night, sweet dreams, Miss Palm. I hope you keep a dream journal, Pam. There's so many cool things that come out of dreams. Yes, the world does need us now, baby Buddha. That's exactly why I'm here. All sweaty and everything, I'm still here. Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I even plan on starting to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. So Spirit is like, you need to tell them. So the only thing I say right now is hang out with pine trees, hang out with cedar trees, anything that conifer trees, the CONIFER, or is it CONIFER? I always mix that up in spelling. Anything with turpentines of pine, anything towards that, because as soon as you can smell that pine, your body is healing. Your NK cells are going up, your immunity is going up, and it will go up for like 30 days. It will literally boost your immunity 40% of like things that will kill diseases in your body. Just hanging out with pine trees, hanging out with cedar trees. Yes, we do. That's why I went into the nature immersion, Louise, is because I was trying to figure out a way how to explain what I knew about nature to people in ways that they would hopefully believe it, so that there could be a transgression for them. So now whenever I call like my bank, heck, I've been on the government, and I tell them about this stuff. I say, if you go hang out with pine trees, It can kill like 40% of cancer in your body. It can prevent cancer in your body and other infectious diseases. And people click onto it. And I'm like, if you don't believe me, you can Google it, you can search it. It's there. It's been cited since the 1980s. That's how chemotherapy came out. Chemotherapy from cancer is from the shigai tree in Japan, which again is another form of the conifer trees, pine trees, cedars. It's all right there. Just of course they don't tell media, right? They don't want to tell people. I was Christmas shopping the other day. I had like an incident that like people were cutting me off, and I was getting to that moment, right? Because I'm a human being. I only have so much patience. And this lady darted in front of me, and she had like 5 gazillion things in her cart. And I literally had 2 things in my hand, and I was like, "Really? Somebody has to cut me off again?" And it just flew out of my mouth. And she immediately stopped and turned around and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You only have 2 things. How rude of me." And she let me go ahead of her. And I immediately went, "Oh, I'm an asshole." Because I just like unloaded on this poor lady and it had nothing to do with her really. I normally have extensive amounts of patience, but I just didn't have it at that time. And I apologized to her. And I said to her, "I'm really sorry that I lashed out like that." I said, "I feel like I want to give you a little bit something extra." And I told her about the pine trees. This lady turned around and went like this and said, "I wish I knew that 3 months ago." She had a scar from here to here, and it was just thick, as you can. She's like, "They just took cancer out of my throat and my lymphatic system." And I said, "Well, then I know that we were meant to meet because you need to hang out with pine trees now so it never comes back." So I told her quickly about shigai trees, how chemotherapy was created from the pine tree, that simply hanging out with pine and cedar trees, you can smell it, it's working. If you really want to give your body a nice dose of like healing, is you get white pine tea. And make sure if you're harvesting it from a tree, please be respectful that tree is alive and it's giving you medicine. It will faint, so you can cut it. As long as you tell it what you're doing, it will faint. You can leave a little offering of cornmeal, oatmeal, tobacco, any kind of herb that you have in your pantry that you think that you feel called to. You can share that with the tree, and just kind of give it a little bit of love. It's a little bit nicer to do it not so much in the spring. Well, sorry, spring, fall, winter. Not so much in the dead of summer. It's not a good time to harvest anything from trees because they're in their full swing of like creating energy and getting ready for storage. They're just a massive like network of a brain. That's what trees are. They're a huge brain on earth. I'm digressing. So white pine tea. You can tell what white pine is. Oh, hi, Miss Sucky. She's got like a little thing going with her hair. White pine tea you can identify because it's got a 5 hand. So it comes down and it's got like a little bunch. Oh, here I go drawing again. I'm going to use the universe paper again. So it has a little bunch on the top, and it has these cool little pine things that look just like a hand. Oops. I call it the hand. See, it's got a little sack here, and it's got a 5. Just please make sure and double check because the hemlock has several of the same. So I'm going to draw just a few more here so you can have an idea of what the pine tree looks like. It's eastern white pine, but you can also drink cedar teas. I would actually say more go towards the white cedar, the eastern cedar for the teas. Always check and double check when you're drinking medicines from nature. And try not to harvest anything from any things that are poisonous. Like don't harvest from a tree that's right beside a road. Those trees are sucking up all those pollutions. I wish more people would talk about that in the herb industry. It's really important where your herbs and your plants and your medicines come from. Especially like people who eat cilantro and parsley. They are natural toxin absorbers of metals. So when they're in the earth, they're sucking all the metal out of the earth And if we eat that, we're eating that metal. But if we get a clean cilantro or we get a clean parsley and we eat it, it will clean our bodies of the toxins and diffuse our bodies of it. Oh, hi, Suki. It's Suki, yes. Oh, he said Suki. I think of David Suzuki when you say that. You want to come up and say hi, Miss Jodi? You want to come say hi? You want the up-ups? She's like, no, I want to walk in some trees. I want to walk in some trees. Yeah, show everybody your messy hair. I was outside today. I had so much fun. I think I'm a big dog. Ruff, ruff. I think she wants treats. My daughter was here and I think she was trying to trim her hair up. So I see like this like thing going here. My daughter wears her hair like that. So I'm like thinking my daughter's style and my daughter's hair. She's a little bunny. You're a good girl. Yes. Us starseeds, we have such a natural connection with animals. You know what? I invite you to try that. I invite you to try to sense your energy in your hand and then point at an animal out in nature, anywhere, a bird, even if it's flying. Just don't like poke it too hard because you can knock it off course, just so you know. But I want you guys to understand like how cool your energy is as starseeds because you can like literally affect things. And once you start learning that, it's really cool. Yes, charging water, definitely. And don't always put crystals in your water, please. You can totally take a crystal and put it beside your water like this, and it will charge up. This is just like rock quartz, which is a great master healer. You literally hold it there, put your intention, and I like singing love, joy, gratitude. So did I know that that vibration's in there? Yeah. It tastes so much better. This is healing water I drink. I do as I say. Like I've never been a person that will be like, oh, you gotta go and do this, and I don't do it. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm so skeptical on things that I need to know that it works so that I'm not giving false information. It's always bugged me. I spent like 2011 to 2018 testing my abilities on psychics. I would go find fake psychics. I hated fake psychics. I thought, what are you doing to the world? And I had like this vigilante thing that I would take down all these fake psychics. What am I thinking? I ended up with some really cool dreams though. I dreamt about Teresa Caputo. She came to me in a dream. That was a really cool dream. There was another Starhawk. She came to me in my dreams. And Letitia. She came to me in my dreams. So if I dream people, I always go look them up and see what they teach. And Letitia and Starhawk spent time together in the 90s as raising conscious for women. And I've shared some of those videos. Fascinating women. Fascinating women. I believe that people get a mix up when they hear the word witch because it's wise woman and it's just more like separation from every like that's what religion is. It's separation. So I consider my religion nature. This is my temple. It's my body, and my religion is my life and spirit. And I define that as myself because I don't know who else believes in what they believe in. But my thing is just believe in something. Just believe in something. Your belief is not wrong because whatever you believe is real. That is the power of being on Earth. So even if we don't even know if we're a star seed, like we're just like a monoclip. I always call them monoclips. Like what are they called? In movies, I think they're called extras, but like in a Matrix, there's something else. They're like glitches. But if a glitch knows it's alive or thinks it's alive, it can still create. So if it knows that it can create, it will continue to create. And with everybody talking about manifesting lately and how it's like going across the board and everybody's like, this works and this works and this works. It's because it all works. It works because when we physically and mentally and spiritually put ourselves in a position of thinking, feeling, and visualizing something for us that comes in the future, and we do it with our eyes closed, our brain does not know the difference. It just knows that that experience is coming. That experience is to come, and it needs to come into the reality. So that comes into our matrix. So cool. So cool. Oh, where should I grab my glasses? Hang on here. Water is emotion healing? Yes. Water's been a big deal lately. Spirit's really been conking on about water. I have a feeling that there's going to be some tsunamis and stuff. I don't usually share my premonitions with the mass public. I have shared my premonitions with my indigenous elder for the last 9 years. But I've never publicly gone out and talked about it. I did have a clue that Betty White was going to pass, and I know that she was a first waver, and that's why everybody took it so hard. But she left a legacy for us, like a legacy. What's that feeling? And that channel the energy from your hands and water. How different you're feeling do it when you feel it done right. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just like any magical, like you go into magical. I always like using magical spells because that's how I learned through my process was through magic. So when you do a spell, you're like, I call on the element of earth. So you bring something in for earth. I call on the element of fire. You bring in something for fire, and then air, spirit, like all it, like right. So you bring it all in. It's the same idea. When you refocus on something, like my marker, I can be like, I can enchant my marker to be lucky, just like that, just because I believed it. So that goes like the law of assumption, the law of abundance, the law of prosperity, the laws of creation, and I know something I can share. This is something I learned recently. Changing your words to saying, I manifest or I create, giving it some authority. Just check it out when you say it. When you say, I create in my future, if you notice I say it kind of mockingly now, I don't mean to, because I've noticed if I say, creating with my authorial abundance, creating with my authorial presence, I like giving that sense of creative authority. For some reason, using that word and giving myself that I have creative authority and I give myself permission to open it, damn, things flip fast. I couldn't even believe it. I did that unlimited unblocking beta course there at the end of 221. That was a really cool experience. That was the meditation I put up with the portal and manifesting and bringing things in quick. Wicked fast. I mean, you can start with small things. I started like with a piece of cake. I ended up like 2 whole cakes. And I don't even eat cake. Yes. Oh, I love that, seeing rainbows through the eyelashes in the sunlight. Oh, rainbows, rainbows. When you see a rainbow, you know all the energies are near. All the energies are near. And you can manifest rainbows too. I've actually asked for rainbows in a specific sign, and they will show up. I've seen doubles, triples. It's been amazing. When I was really at my lowest in 2018, I stood in the Niagara River, which on the upper part, which is still wicked fast. If I got swept away, I would have been swept away. But I sat there and I cried, and I opened up my hands, and 3 rainbows appeared. And what made it really cool is that when I was standing in the water with my hands open, the rainbow literally went like this, but because I was standing in the water, it reflected and did a perfect circle. So there was 3 perfect circular rainbows, and they all went through my hand. And that's when they taught me about the rainbow energies in our hands. It's so cool. Ah, spiritual gangsta. I love that name, by the way. Ariel Spiritual Gangsta. I love that. I think I've talked about rainbow angel energy before. Just like our chakras in our hands. And then we get the one above. So root, all the way up, crown, and then above. Third eye, or third eye crown, that's it. Air, water, earth, fire, there. Yes, the star. Star. This kind of looks like, well, my thumb's not all great, but I often wondered, like, if when we evolutionize this, that if our thumb didn't, like, was down this way, because, you know, when you see the primates, their thumbs are, like, down this way. They're like this. And if you put your hand out, it kind of looks more like a star. I know people that have built cities by literally putting their hand on a map. They say, this is the center of town, and then they draw the map out. Yeah, it was really cool seeing that rainbow sphere. It was the coolest thing about living in Niagara Falls. Is like, it's an endless rainbow here. That's okay. That's why we're here. I've lived here for, I'm going my 9th year. My anniversary's coming up. It's only the last year my neighbors started being kind to me. Before that, I was called weirdo. Why do you have your garden overgrown? They call me witch because I have like medicine circle out back. I have a medicine wheel, and like what people don't know, they just automatically throw shade on. So know that whatever you're doing, if they're throwing shade on you, you're doing something that's rocking their insides to their core, and they're just scared. And eventually, they're gonna come around. So this Halloween, I had like 8 women from my neighborhood come and tell me, and they whispered in my ear, "I've come out of the closet. I'm a baby witch." And I just think it's hilarious because these women think that I'm a witch. I'm not a witch. I practice magic, but I'm not a witch. And there's nothing wrong with being a witch because that's a wise, powerful woman. But for a lot of years, I identified as a witch. And then I identified as a wise woman. And then I identified as a medicine woman. But I'm like a sorceress. I deal with so much different magic. I'm not just one thing. I was taught magic when I was young. I was learning indigenous stuff in my teens. By the time I was like 18, 19, I had a hoodoo voodoo priestess teaching me her ways. We all get something as star seeds. I don't know what it is, but through all the crap, somehow people notice us. I've had like weird incidences, like if I'm really happy out in public and people who can see energy will like come up to me and be like, "Can you like bless my family?" And I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, just touch my kids." Why? It's kind of weird too, you know, like when you go into like a corner store with your friends and all of a sudden everybody's parading around and they're like, "Meet my baby, meet my mommy, meet," and they're showing me everybody and my friend's looking at me like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." So you as a star seed? No. When people come to you and they're like, I feel like I know you from somewhere. They do. They know you from source. So trust it. And trust when people tell you stuff. If somebody says to you, "I'm lazy," they're lazy. We as starseeds look deep into the core and see the best of them. And we always seem to like look past it, right? Because we want to see the best of what's in a person every single time. That's one of the blessings of a starseed is that we can see that core. So good to our core. Like, oh, so good to our core. Oh, thank you, Miss Louise. May the fire of the Holy Spirit anoint us with the divine virtues and graces. Grazie, grazie, grazie. Second that. That's awesome. I'm like, oh, energy, 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 energy. Love it, love it, love it. I'm sending it and giving it. That's what I'm doing when I do this. Send it, give it, send it, give it, send it, give it. Oh, wait. I just sent it up twice. Send it, give it, send it, give it. Look at that. I caught it. I feel so sick, Louise. My environment is really, really hard to survive in both my country and my own. What country are you in, baby Buddha? Okay. Oh, baby Buddha's name is Annabella. Okay. What country are you in, Annabella? You're in Iran. Oh, you're in heavy energy. You're like the foot shoulder. No wonder. Have you ever worked with crystal grids, baby Buddha? Any stone grids or any crystal grids? Yes, okay. Have you ever heard of the four guardians? Those are four stones when you go on a walk and you ask specific stones to stand out, to stand in the corners of your room for protection or your home. Yes, crystals are everywhere. Here in Niagara Falls, we're under a lot of selenite. We have that white, very flimsy, very soft crystal. Gypsum, I think that's another name for it. So what you can do is, and this is for everybody who watches this, is that you go on a walk with the intention of finding guardians, and you say to the universe and to the earth and to the stone people, I'm in need of guardianship while I sleep and while I'm away. I need four guardians to mind and then my space, whatever space it is you have. If you have a whole home to yourself, do every corner in your home. Bottom of the home, if you can go to the lowest point of the home. If you're in a room, every corner in a room. If you're in I've had this, somebody says, I'm in a triangular room. And you put one in every corner of the room and then one in the center. If you're in a circular room, find the four corners like a medicine wheel and put them in the room. As you're walking, stones will appear. Your walk will not be finished until you find all four stones. So you have to be dedicated in it when you do this, because sometimes they come quickly and sometimes they don't, depending how thick the energy is. But you'll know because you'll sense it. You'll resonate. You'll just know. You'll be like, that's the one. You'll sense it because you'll feel the safety from it. And you gather your four stones, then you get back to your home. When you get back to your home, you state it again. This is the home where you're going to keep me safe and protected from whatever it is. State it aloud. As you place them, when you place the stone, you can place guardian angels, anything that you believe in, ancestors, whatever, in each corner with that stone guardian. Because that stone guardian is not one, it is thousands upon millions in that stone. So when you're putting these stones on your corners, or crystals, you're literally setting a grid. And when you're setting the grid, do it in a line. One corner, don't go across the room. Corner, follow, corner, follow, corner, follow, corner, seal it, continue to walk this way. If you have something that you feel that you need to activate it, because some people have that feeling that sometimes stones are sleeping, and they are, and you have to find a keystone to open them, to activate them. You don't always need to do that. You can have one master healer stone, crystal. Let me grab this again. As long as it has some sort of intention with your hand, you literally swirl it clockwise down. And you literally say, I'm activating my grid for, you state it. The greatest people in the world have always used crystal grids. Alexander the Great, that is how he conquered land. That's how he won so much. He would literally sneak in, crystal grid the land that he was going to conquer, and then go in. Because he literally already took the energy himself. He'd like set the intention around, gridded it up, had all the energies on his side. And people are like, how did Alexander the Great so great? How does he win so much? He set crystal grids. I won't advise anybody to move out of Iran. I wouldn't advise anybody to move unless they wanted to. That's why I never mentioned anything, Louise, because I also believe Spirit put you for a reason. And if you're taking advice from others, that's wonderful if you want it. So I just want her to be safe because I know how volatile Iran is. It's very different there. It will work. It will work. And you can also do the same for yourself. So you can program any crystal to be on your body. Any crystal. You can literally go out for a walk and say, what crystals will keep me safe from my sister, from demonic forces, from evil, from da-da-da-da. You gotta believe that's the key form of anything, that belief structure. Our beliefs are everything in this world. Yeah. And anytime she comes near you, I used to do this as a kid. You cannot feel guilty about this, okay? If you feel she's coming in on you, build up your energy and zap her. You have so much energy inside you as a starseed, way more than any demonic force. And the reason why they like to harass us is because they don't think that we know. Remember I told you about rainbow hands? Zzz. Remember I said about the energy? Zzz. Electricity can literally come out of your hand. Chi, flow, energy, that heat. Maybe that's why your hands are building up. It's their way of saying to you, like, you can literally, you can even do it in your mind's eye. If you don't want her to physically see you, close your eyes. Say, oh, I just need to close my eyes for a second or whatever. You don't have to say it aloud. Close your eyes. Bubble yourself up. Literally, bubble yourself up. Build up your energy ball. Just like if you were like a freaking anime character, man. Zap. It works. And the more emotion you have in it, the better. Oh gosh, yes. Is the group still going? Is it still going on Facebook? I wasn't sure. I seen everybody saying goodbye. And I know that there was another lady, her name is Barbara. She's a really cool lady too. Um, Barbara Hanlon, I think. Oh gosh, I don't want to get the name wrong. She just had a birthday, like, I think it was yesterday or the other day. She's like rocking it. She has like a recovery empath group, I think. Is that the group you're speaking of, or you're talking about the old Facebook group? Another thing I was wondering too. I want to know about. I'm going to look for the answer for the Facebook group there, but I want to know about um, getting together success groups. You just kind of hinted onto that. Spirit's like, remember success groups? So, success groups and intentional groups is a collaboration that I've done that works really well. And I've experimented with other people. So, it's like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Barbara Scher. She does like the success groups. And then there's Lynn McTaggart. She does intentional groups. So, what I've done is taken those two and grouped together. So, the idea in a success group is actually Tony Robbins does it at all his things. A lot of people do it when they get their like business leader coaches. They have these little small teams of 8 people. And Lynn also does a group of 8 in attention groups. So what happens in these groups, they can be 8 to 30 people. And what happens is everybody goes through their list. So if one person, say, Baby Buddha here, um, Annabella wants to get out of Iran. So the group of people will literally all stay focused in on helping her, because somebody within those people will know somebody from immigration, somebody will know somebody from somewhere that can help you out. Somebody will have money, somebody will have an information, because of that 6 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon when he did that experiment way back when. That's where Barbara Scher stemmed off of her success group. She unfortunately passed away last year, but her stuff still goes on. They still have coaching and stuff like that. And how they get their success is they group up and they go through everybody's one at a time. So everybody's major need. So after this need was met, then they would go to the next person. Where I've integrated lens is that I put the intention and manifestations in there because it's the same idea with the success group as it is with lens, except for they use intention. So for one day, everybody in the group holds intention for the one person. The next day, everybody holds intention for the next person. And then the next day. And you do it for 6 weeks. And you go around and around through 8 people. No more than 8 people, though, with the intentional groups. So it's cycled through. And the first time I did it, there was a lady, I can't mention names because they're still following me on my social media. And you know who you are, ladies. But one lady was manifesting a place to live with land, and she now lives in a place. She has a house right outside a conservation area, so it got brought to her. The other lady was looking for a chance to say goodbye to her mother before she passed, and I believe it was oh no wait, or was it more healing for her mother, or was it for herself? I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. It was something to do with health. I'm mixing up two different groups. Sorry about that. The other lady, she, because the first time I did it, I only did it with 3 people. It was me, myself, me, and the other 2 ladies. And I was manifesting self-love, and it worked. Like, each one of our things came true. It was so powerful, we actually, like, backed away and said, whoa, that's cool how well that worked. But I've taken in the last couple of years the ideas of small groups of people, success groups, and I've seen it flourish just simply on its own. But adding the intentional, it's like magic happens. It just like happens so much quicker. So if you're into it, then I would suggest it. Finding a small group of people in the tribe that would be willing to do that, and maybe I can see if I can put up to some videos about getting intentional groups started. I might have to put that on the back burner until like February. I really do have a lot on the go in my life. I'm working on some other things in my city, and I'm making decisions in my life. I'm not even sure if I'm going to stay in Niagara Falls. I'm getting called out of Niagara Falls. So I have to see what's going on with me. The downloads have been insane. I have another week to finish my crystal course that I'm putting up online, and then my book is just getting edited, which is the herbal recipes. So much has been on the go. As for your artwork, I totally support that baby Buddha. I love that you're an artist. I am too. That's something else that I have to focus in on is classes are starting again. Art grants are coming along. I don't know if your country does any art grants. Maybe just off the top of my head, you could apply to do a residency in another country to study art, since you love art so much. The world is calling for artists all over the place right now. It's a big deal with the artists. So I know a lot of things are doing like virtual right now, but you can bring that to another level. That's something Spirit showed me in 2020. I accidentally wrote a CV for the Art Council of Canada, and they accepted it. I didn't think it. I just thought it was something you're supposed to do. I was doing it for practice. I never thought in a million years they would accept it. So that's when I really took recognition. Oh, maybe I'm not just creative. Maybe I'm actually an artist. I'm curious to what art you do. Is anybody else an artist in his house? Oh my gosh. Snoop Dogg's coming through for some reason. I paint, I tattoo, I dance. You play the didgeridoo. Oh, I love the sounds of a didgeridoo. I can hear it in my head right now. And you tattoo, that's amazing. Yeah, you have so many good things. It's amazing, amazing. I keep hearing digger-do now. I'm like, whoa. I can't do the sounds though. That'll sound funny, but it doesn't even sound nothing like that. It's funny. Digger-do. I'm probably not even saying it, am I? Am I saying it right? Digger-do? Didgeridoo. Oh my gosh. Didgeridoo? Digger-do? I don't know. You know the beauty about being like hard of hearing and like having no hearing in my ear? That when I don't know if I'm saying things right. So when I'm pronouncing it, I think it sounds right in my head. Oh goodness, I'm glad I'm saying it right. You're psychic medium too. Oh, so cool. You know what, ladies? I'm gonna go do something right here. Since you are saying me, let's pull a few cards. This is like my daughter's name, by the way, Rebecca Campbell. This is not my daughter that did the cards, though. And I thought it was interesting. Let's see here. Let's see what we can do here. Thank you for loving my energy. I keep my energy pretty high vibe. People tend to notice that about me. I do freak out my doctor, though. I tend to spin higher on him on purpose. He always says, I get dizzy and anxiety when you're around. You're too articulate. I do it on purpose. I'm putting my light codes in your brain, doctor. Didgeridoo. Didgeridoo. Alright, spirit. Oh my god, I heard JDS tear in my head. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ring a wing a wing. That guy's a great reader. I enjoy him so much. Okay, spirit, what do you got first? What do you got first? What do you got for Baby Buddha? AKA Annabelle. Huh? What you got? Oh, I feel like something is going to stop out there. Ooh, wait, ooh. Ooh, I got a few here. Hang on. I feel like there's a few that are going to pop out there. Oh, something hit the dirt. Oh, yeah, it did too. There's a pile. Okay. This one hit the dirt. I hit dirt. And you read them as they came out. Did it? Here's a furball. Empathic starseed. Energetic severity, absorbing what is not yours. Oh, that sounds familiar. So this is what we were talking about earlier. I don't know if you can see it. Whoop! Dropping cards here. I don't know if you can see it. See it? Mm-hmm. The lighting is kind of... They're pretty bright cards. Let's see the next one. This is the one that hit the dirt. Cyrus energy, bringing harmony and balance. Hit the dirt. I know what that meant. Ground out. Hit the dirt. Ground out. I bet you have so much energy inside you. When you zap your sister, you're going to be so amazed. I'm telling you, I just have that sense right now. I just like heard spirit. She's going to be like, oh, did I do that? Oh my gosh, even looking at the card now. Oh my god, even looking at the card. Yeah, you're going to zap her good when you do it. Yes, it is. It is. Spirit told me about rainbow winds when I was a very young girl. Rainbow winds is... Oh, how do I put that? It's the spirits in the trees. It's usually like fae, people that protect the trees are usually rainbow spirits. And if you go into deep forests, I don't know if you've ever heard or seen of, there's like little glowing orbs that float around, and they're all different colors. And they say like around Mount Shasta and stuff like that, there's a portal. And around portals, you'll see a lot of rainbow winds. And rainbow winds are literally energies from different dimensions. That's what Spirit told me. Energies from different dimensions. And when I channel through all kinds of interesting, crazy stuff. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. Are you homesick, honey? I know a home looks a little bit darker in color. They're more darker pinks and blues, yellows. You're longing for it. Are you ready for this? I actually got goosebumps when I picked up and seen this card. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Yes, we are. We're the bridges. I chose Rainbow Winds as a name because Spirit told me, because we're all Rainbow Winds. Like, Rainbow Winds is just not me. Rainbow Winds is everybody. See, darling? You're not for everybody. Okay. So, I believe when you jolt your sister, and remember I said that you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't know my energy. Kind of like what you're doing right now. The Great Serving, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. I have a sense that once you zap her, that's going to be a good thing. You might not even choose to zap her. You might just stay away and she's going to get zapped on her own. Spirit's like, she's going to get zapped. And I'm like, all right. I'm laughing. I'm like, Because Spirit's like literally showing me, I don't know if you have static, like, you know, when you go across a carpet or you touch something like fuzzy and then all of a sudden you touch something and it's like zap and you see that like spark. Spirit keeps showing me like somebody going across the carpet, like, so they're revving up their energy and then they just go tink and I literally see like this huge zap happen. It's hilarious. I wish I could put like what's in my mind on the screen. It's so great. It's like literally zap, and then I see this one going and like, oh my God, I didn't mean to zap you so hard. And like I just see the giggles. It's so awesome. Yes, really. Yes, really. That's exactly what like Spirit keeps showing me. And it's like repetitiveness on that one. Like, especially when you zap her, the giggles that come out of you after you realize your power, I wish I could be there to witness it. It's going to be an amazing moment. That is going to be an amazing moment. All right. Miss Suki's looking at me. I know, darling. I'm going to go for a couple of more minutes and then we go for a walk, okay? We go for a walk? Yes. If you can't hold your titi, make sure you go to the pond. Yeah? Okay, thank you, honey. That's you. Oh, yes. Earthing, amazing stuff. I don't trust the earthing blankets, though. They have like all the electricity, and like that doesn't make sense to me. You can literally use your hand, hold the tree, and you're grounding out. Touch a plant. Ground out with your energetic cord. You can go through any concrete, anything. We're made, like we have like fungi system in us. And fungi is the only thing in the earth that can crush cords with rapid speed. So our energetic fungi is pretty amazing. What is this? Oh. It's really coming through for you, baby Buddha. It keeps saying Sire's energy, bringing harmony and balance, a new earth. It's happening. Keep going with your vision. All paths lead to home. Inner authority, intuition, trust your grace within. The courageous peony. Multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. The blue flame, spontaneous awaken, activation, integration time. There's a lot here. Spirit's really talking on you. You're very much welcome, darling. I love you too. Very much. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I'm hoping to do retreats this year online. That I can take people on healing retreats and teach them how to gather their own like natural healing tools. How to create things and stuff like that. How to manifest or create magic even with the simplest elements. One of the first things I learned in magic was to become an ultimate sorcerer, you have to be able to cast on a blade of grass. You won't find that in a Google search. Trust me, you won't, because I thought I found it in a Google search, and I was talking to a warlock about 6 years ago, because he was obsessed with my energy and what I knew magically. And I said, I don't know, all I know is I gotta learn how to cast on a blade of grass. And then he was like, who the hell told you that? I'm like, I found it on Google somewhere. And he's like, no. That's like secret knowledge. I'm like, I thought I found it on Google. I spent my lifetime in books. I was the person that tried not to hang around with people. I was the one in the bush. And everybody going, oh, look, it's Bush Woman. And I'd be like, loving it. Yes, I actually really do that. So it's hard for people to wrap around when I do the nature and forest bathing. And I do art. And I've studied and I've done magic. I've done tarot reading since I was 18. So Spirit's always been up my back. Even before I started doing any of like research into starseeds and stuff, which I started that in 2010. But it was always about magic. It was always about learning that sort of thing. I just stay quiet. People scare the hell out of me, man. Not anymore. They used to. Man, people used to scare the hell out of me. It is very deep. I agree with you. Here's something that why we are connected, Louise. I don't know if you ever seen that one video I did, and I have a seed necklace on. It's an apple seed necklace, and it's the star shape. That necklace was actually made in Australia for me. 2004. It was made by Aboriginal tribes. The lady sent it over for me. And then, as odd as that is, when the lady sent it to me, my mother was in Colombia, and she bought me another seed star necklace in Colombia. And she said this lady came up to her and said, your daughter needs this, but I need 5 cents for the transaction. So I still have both of those seed necklaces. Exactly the same time. It's pretty cool. I don't know why I felt compelled to tell you about the seed necklace, but perhaps somebody wants to make a seed necklace. They are very powerful protection. Like frankincense tears. They're really hard though to make, the frankincense tear necklaces. Okay, the cards are not saying anything more. They're just shuffling. So I'm sorry everybody else. The message was clear for Baby Buddha there, for Annabelle. Deep cellular healing. Arcturians energy, physical and emotional healing. That's the only thing that came through. The Arcturians are around. They want healing for everybody. Oh, known isn't scary. When you know something, then you're like, I got that shit. When you can visually play something out in your head in the beginning. So I've watched so many motivation things over like the last 15 years of my life too. Trying to figure all the secrets and stuff to building great businesses, and how multimillionaires had these mindsets where other people didn't and stuff like that. And one of the things that I've definitely discovered is When you know something, there's absolutely no fear because you know what to expect. So when you're manifesting, the reason why scripting and visualization works, and hearing, feeling, seeing, because again, with the brain not knowing the difference, but if you can put yourself in a position like, say you're in school and you have a math test coming up, and you know how the teacher gives the math test. She goes around the room and she hands it out to this row, to this row, to this row, and she makes everybody pass it back. And everybody takes a sheet of paper and hands it back. And then you get your piece of paper and you start writing your test. Now, you might not know what's on that test, but if you can see yourself in the classroom and you see the teacher handing it out, and then the paper comes back and you hand your back and you got your paper, and you feel confident in that moment, saying, I know the answers because I studied and I got this. And you see yourself just answering questions that the teacher maybe had recently been putting up on the board or whatever, pop quizzes. Just allow those things to come up, and then you're solving the problems. Finish it off, like you hand in your paper, and you see yourself getting an A. I did so good on that paper, blah, blah, blah. They have found through studies, I think it's like Stanford or Harvard, it's one of the two, that when you do that in any situation, so if you're going to go stand up and talk in front of a crowd, if you stand up in front of a mirror and practice, you'll do great. But if you sit with yourself and visualize yourself doing it, you will like nail it 100%. For some reason, when our brains actively practice it, when we go to do it, we've already picked up any mistake that we think we're going to make, and we already have the belief that we can do it. So it's already a known thing. So it becomes not scary because we already kind of know what to expect, because our brain has already gone through the process of, I'm sitting in front of the class, say I'm sitting for to give a presentation, and I know that Billy over here is going to throw gum at me. Well, he always throws gum at me when I give a presentation. So you know that when you're giving a presentation, the Billy's going to throw gum at some time, and he throws it, you go like this, and the gum goes by. So you see that in your vision, right? The gum goes by, you kind of smirk, and you just keep going. And you see like the class may be gasping. So just little things like that. It sets your brain in the right direction all the way. See here about pyramids. Pyramids in Australia under army bases. Yep. 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 Yes. Yes. There's pyramids everywhere. Um, when I did UFO researches and studies, gosh, I started UFO research study in 2012, I think it was. What I discovered, all pyramids are spaceships. That's why you see the black triangles in the sky. You see them like this, because they're really a pyramid in the sky. I don't know how many people know that, but if you think about, you see the triangle, people see the big triangle ships. You're like, there's this big black triangle ship. The last one I seen was in Kitchener, Ontario in 2000. Oh, so no, it was 2011. So I got into UFOs long before that. I got out of UFOs. It's a scary research place. I didn't like it. I did not like it. The first time I recorded a UFO, it conked out my whole computer system. And then we tried to do recordings of it, and all they could get on the recording was the recording. So they could hear the recorder recording, but no other sound. Not anything else in the room. Not me sneezing, breathing, nothing. Just the recorder recording. That's the closest we could get to recording it. So then when I sent the original file, it shut down those people's computers too. And we decided that we weren't going to look at it, that we shouldn't touch it. And that was enough to get me to stay away. I've learned how to call aliens. I know how to call them in. Anybody can call them in. If you really want to speak to your star family, I'm checking with Spirit. Hang on. Okay. Spirit says you do it. So how you call on your star family, is you go outside, you ground out on the ground, you have trust, faith, and belief, and then you say Yahweh, and you say it 3 times, and then you wait. They will show up. Usually they show up as white little dots, way far up in the sky, and you'll see them, and you'll notice them because they stand out from everything else. So I don't usually do that very often. I don't usually tell people that, but it's just time. But the black spaceship that you see, what does that look like? They say, oh, there's these triangle spaceships that are flying over. And this is what you see because they're showing you that proportion. You can see that, but triangle, no. So when it's floating along, this side here, sometimes some people told me that they spin. So that's why they look constantly like the flat shape, like this. It's because they're actually spinning. I think Bob Lazar has a good, what am I repeating? Oh, Yahweh. Yahweh. Ah is the name of our universe. Ah. Wayne Dyer speaks of that. Oh, I'm getting told to shut up. So I will. That's spirit telling me. I can't say it a 3rd time. I'm very, very sorry. I can't say it again because that means something will open, and I have to be careful with that. I've been receiving so many downloads in the last 5 days. It's just been, I'm like, oh my God, can I handle this? It's been a lot of light codes, But the Arcturians are insisting about me sharing the DNA codes. So this is sacred geometry. These cards are by Janosh. I got these when I cracked in my 30s. So I think it was like 34. So they're about 12 years old. And I started working with them. It sounds just like that. This here. So when you're looking at it, this is what Dolores was talking about. Like, this is why I put the video up, so people could understand what was going on when I give these readings. Because they're like, you're only giving me 1 word. It doesn't resonate. It is resonating, but it's resonating as a concept. And it will come to light when you need it. But this is what the Arcturians' message has been, like, overall. So what I do is I give 3 keys a week, because that's how you learn the keys. So that way, when you start looking at the sacred geometries, the blueprints are encoded. This one's gratitude, just like the one I showed on the video earlier. That's a blueprint. It's a DNA sequencing. So like this is like the core. Of this. And when you start looking into these, that's literally like the key to the universe right there. That's why they're keys. They're called the keys of the Arcturians. And these were channeled in by a German man named Janosh, Janosh. You can look him up. He still does videos to this day. I don't know how deep he is in it, but it actually came like a sacred geometry, binaural beat healing thing, way advanced from its time. So when people start doing binaural beats on YouTube, I was a very happy lady because I got something new. Merkaba. Merkaba is interesting. When I first cracked, they showed me the Merkaba coming apart to a diamond. Like, it's not really coming apart. It was like metamorphing itself, like more metamorphing from its cube shape to an actual diamond. And I still have those original pictures because they made me take pictures of the sun, and then they had me draw a flower around it with petals, And then each petal they had me label and then put a different color to the sun. And then they put the Merkaba cube in the middle. And then they showed me that when the Merkaba cube moves a certain way, it shapes and forms into a diamond, which is a perfect sphere. So then when we're in our sphere state, because we're Merkaba all the time, and from what I understand, when we meditate and when we align, we turn into that sphere. And then that flower begins to rotate, and that's how the energies go out. So that's what I've downloaded personally. I know that as my truth because it's never been proven wrong in all these years from spirit. I don't think I've even heard anybody speak about it. So I don't know if I have anything to compare it with. So sorry about that, but that's what spirits have showed me. Like the Arcturians have shown me that for so long. Like that was the first crack thing that they showed me was Merkaba every day. We're Merkaba every day, no matter what we do. Merkaba. When we go into in ourselves and we connect below and above, we turn into that sphere. Like sphere. And then afterwards we go back to our Merkaba form. I think I'm doing it, kind of, sort of. My hands kind of want to do it, but they don't want to do it. I like hand mudras, but they're a pain in the butt. Hand mudras. Any hand mudra you need to know is you're literally pulling yourself in the middle of the divine in the universe. That's why, magical people do this, like this, when they're meditating, this, because this is the male and female aspect, and this is the universe. And then when you pull it down here, you're literally pulling it down into your field. Oh, I love sun rays. I actually have prisms in my house. You see this right here? On my finger? This is a prism. These two are prisms. Over here is a prism. It's wind chimes, prisms, crystals, shells, crystals. Do whatever like your intuition goes, go with that. Just follow that, trust it. One time I had intuition that I had to have all these feathers hanging from my bed. Here, I got gifted some feathers, so I'll go grab this. This is really cool. One of my Christmas presents, feathers. I love these. This was like one of the best Christmas gifts. So, it was a beautiful blue jay feather. So Spirit had it that I had to take a little tiny bead and put it here. But with that bead, I had to tie 3 loops around and then 3 knots. And then I put on the bead, 3 loops around, 3 knots. But then the string would come up. I just happen to have a string here all the time. Cool beans. One thing about being an artist, you got little knickknacks all around. So, then I dropped my scissors. So then Spirit would have me tie it around. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this shit? Even I started questioning my mind. Because I was like, why are feathers pointing down? Because feathers are worn in the hair pointing up because they're antennas. They in between, right? So all these feathers were hanging. I haven't tied it. It's probably gonna. I'll loosen it. So here, I tie it quick here. Just to give you a basic idea. But then Spirit said, go get some sticks. I'm like, oh, I need sticks for it, right? Spirit's like, don't worry, you go get some sticks. So I went and got the sticks. So I get the sticks. And Spirit says, tie them to the sticks. So they hang above your head in your bed. So I had all these feathers hanging like this on a stick. But then the sticks, they started having me do shapes. So then I had the triangle shape, square, Then they had me make one that was like a circular and a vine. And then every single time I would find feathers. So like I had feathers all over my house. When I was done with it, I ended up putting them out in the forest and letting it go back to the land. So then they were just hanging. So I had feathers over my head all the time. So I'm sitting here sleeping looking at these feathers. And my daughter comes home one day and she says, I find this cool book, Mom. It's all about Aztecs and all their old ways. I'm like, okay, so I'm flipping through, and there it was. There it was. And back in the day with the Aztecs healers and shamans, they would have a room where they slept, and then above it, they had sticks and X's or squares or in circles, and they had these feathers with one bead or a crystal hanging on these strings, and these patterns lined up. And that they would sit and sleep underneath them to transmit information. So I was like, oh, so spirit can work like that with you, eh? If you just don't trust what's going on, say to spirit, say to the universe, how is this even working? Like, am I just, blah, 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 blah? You're not. The greatest creations in the world came from people who just trusted what came into them. And a musician and an artist will tell you that sings that the song that they came up with just came out they just came from somewhere, just out of nowhere. It just boom. It was just inspired. It wrote itself. It's because same idea. It's spirit. It's channeled through. I'm like looking. I'm like, these are some cool crystal feathers in here. That's a raven feather. That's pretty cool. Here's a northern flicker. It's yellow and brown. These are used in ceremony to cut out negative energy, or cut ties, like I call them silver ties. I guess people call them the emotional cords, or energetic cords. I call them silver ties because they look like silver streams to me. Wild turkey. I'm a wild turkey. I am a wild turkey. That's my totem. I am the turkey. That's a mourning dove. Oh, there's to be an owl feather. Ooh, that's a nice one. There's lots of feathers in here. Another blue jay? Or is that mallard? I'm not sure. It's kind of got like a bluey. That might be raven. It's got the bluey tinge to it. This one here. Oh, that's a cardinal feather. That's a red feather. That's a cardinal feather. Oh, I wish the red was picking up. Damn. I've only had one other cardinal feather, and I found it on a trail. Right next to a blue jay feather. Oh my god. Oh my god. My daughter spoiled me. I think that's wild turkey. Sometimes when you get to some of them, they're hard to find. This one's a mallard for sure, because it's got the greeny blue on it. You see it? That is so cool. I will always suggest to collect feathers. Oh yes, peacock feather. I came from a peacock, she told me. People keep peacocks because they're very protective. I love that eyeball. They're very protective. This is the first time I looked at the feathers, by the way. They're very protective of land, like donkeys, very protective. Oh, that's got a white tip. That's a blue jay. It's a tail feather. Oh, I don't know what this one is. It's got an interesting thing on it. That might be hawk. Just because, see the tip on the end? I'd say that's a hawk feather. This summer, I was gifted like a puff, like a chest of puff, like a poof of feathers from the red hawk, the red-tailed hawk. They must have been in a scuffle or something, but right in the middle where I walk, there it was, this tuft of a chest of the feathers. I am not sure what that is. That's a, I don't know. Swan? I think that's swan because it's pretty thick and it's got the double barrel at the back. Geese do not have double barrels. They have one solid cone up. I don't know what that was. That's a mallard. That's for sure mallard. That looks like that's a tail feather of a mallard, I think. Just by the shape and the size of it and the color. That would be a male mallard too. Females are more the brown and white color. And that's all my feathers I got for Christmas. Oh my goodness, yes, sweet dreams, sweet dreams, sweet dreams. And when you guys were speaking about water programming, you can also drink your water before bed and program for sweet dreams. And if you have a hard time going to sleep, when you're breathing in, stop halfway. I can only do that once because I'll knock out right here on camera. It neurologically turns your brain to go sleeping. Sometimes it might take a few times, but that's how dogs and cats and animals sleep so well, is that when they go to sleep, they let out that sigh. What they're doing is when they're breathing in, they stop halfway just for a few seconds, then they breathe in, and then they relax it. Somehow it kicks something off in our brain to go to sleep. That one was from Stanford. That's a neural hack from Andrew Huberman. Huberman. I almost dropped the feathers. Huberman. Something like that. It's about the same. Huberman. All right, it's 8 o'clock here. I guess it's time, and it's been like 2 hours. And it's just you and me, Louise, down to us. And it must be like so wicked early in the morning there for you. So thank you for joining me. Thank you everybody else for joining me. It was awesome. I love you so much, Louise. Thank you for being such an awesome supporter. You've been like the sister I've always wanted, you know. I got to make sure I check my emails. I seen that you had emailed me, and I was like, I gotta get to that email. So it's been on my mind all day, and I literally checking things off. And then when I went to go do something, Spirit was like, you need to go on, and you need to tell a story about Jodi with an I, not with a Y, and everything else will flow. So there we are. I love you. Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you to those who are watching. And let me know if there's something new you want to learn in a crystal course, because I'm just finishing off with some of my editing, and now's the time because I can answer those questions in the crystal course, and I'll make sure I come back up here on YouTube and answer it too. So I send you so much love. I'm getting parched. I definitely need some water, and I'll see you soon. And remember, every Sunday I'm going to be bringing up the blueprints for the star seeds, so that they resonate with you, and you have your 3 keys for the week to resonate with. But there'll be more on that next Sunday, and how to work it, and how you can trace and stuff like that. So much love. I love you. I know that one as a different one. That's a breathing pattern I learned from, was my advocate? I don't know. I've learned so many breathing patterns. The 4 square one, the one that you really want to, like if you really want to knock it out, you exhale for 11 seconds, then you breathe in for 11 seconds. It's like hyperventilating. You literally go right out. I don't suggest it though. The one I suggest is the one halfway through. I had extreme anxiety falling asleep. And that has always allowed me to sleep really well. So I love you, Miss Gardner, Miss Louise. I need to get my drink. I'm so thirsty. And I'll see y'all soon. Much love. Thank you, everybody.